now that she has a new body.
New boobs.
She's trying a new man.
What do you think? Do you like my boob job?
And he was impressed with her new chest.
Look at him!
After he has a blind date too.
We went out and played pool.
Oh, that's a real romantic date.
You do everything he wants you to do? Like the boob job?
I notice you can't fill that dress pretty well.
Will these two stay together
Do you like my boob job?
or have a change of heart?
Look at him!
Thank you very much. I'm Chris Jagger. Welcome to Change of Heart. This is a show where couples who've reached a crossroads in their relationship voluntarily go on one blind date with someone new. We're going to meet their dates in just a bit, but first we're going to meet our couple. Now, he caught her eye at a restaurant. She gave him her phone number, but he never called. As fate would have it, their lines kept crossing, and finally, about 3 months ago, he decided to make that call. Now they've been hopelessly hung up on each other ever since. Please welcome Paul Pace and Erica Alexandra. Welcome. I understand the relationship could probably use a wake-up call at this point. Erica, the first time that you met Paul, what was it that that you decided to give him your number? Why?
Oh, he was absolutely breathtaking, and he has this really boyish look to him, and I thought, let me corrupt you.
Oh, it's a nice thought. Let me corrupt you. And why did you wait so long to call?
Well, initially, when we met, she had told me that I had this baby face, and she totally came on to me really aggressive. And I was.
Did that scare you a little bit?
It did. I was a little scared. I was didn't know how to react. But I found her really exotic, and I found her a lot of confidence, and that really turned me on. Yeah. And I couldn't stop thinking about it.
You set out to corrupt him, though? Any setbacks along the way when you were trying to do your due?
He just won't talk dirty to me in the bedroom.
That's not true.
Yes, it is.
Talk to you sometimes.
You laugh when you're talking dirty to me, as if that's supposed to turn me on.
What causes the most stress between the two of you in your relationship?
Well, she travels a lot. She's a train attendant, and I get the feeling that she has a boyfriend in every port. And
yeah, Paul.
we don't even spend that much time together when she comes back.
But what do you think? Every time the train's pulling in somewhere, somebody's pulling
Yeah,
into
I'm
her,
necking
or
with
what?
all the conductors on board.
No?
Yeah.
So he's a little insecure, I guess.
Very.
We're just not that intimate
very
when she comes
insecure.
back. She's either too tired or doesn't want to spend the time together.
I only work 17 to 20 hours a day. I'm really supposed to come home and take care of your sexual needs.
Not at all.
All right, Erica, what about going out late night? Do you guys hang out in the clubs?
Oh, he's Cinderfella.
Cinderfella?
Yeah. He sees it's 12 o'clock and he has to take the car back home because it's going to turn into a pump.
You ever think about getting a little time together so we can have some romance instead of going out with your friends and, strutting your stuff everywhere? Huh?
Would she like to show it off? Is that it?
Look what she's wearing right now.
Oh.
She's showing it off.
Paul, obviously Erica's pretty aggressive because she approached you. Is she ever too aggressive? She crossed the line?
Yeah, she does. There's been a few times she's gone out and she's worn a really see-through top. She's got these new boobs.
I got them for you. Okay, I got them for you.
Oh, they were? It was a gift for you,
You know
Paul.
what?
She got
You
it
know
because
what?
she wanted to go out and she
That's
she
all
wants to
he'd
draw the
ever talk
attention to
about.
herself.
That's all he would ever talk about. Oh, Maria, your friend has such wonderful, beautiful, big boobs.
No, that's all she would talk about.
And you know
She
what?
always talk about, I want the boobs, because she wants the attention. Nobody
All right,
ever gives her
Erica,
enough attention.
tell me this. What does Paul do when he does want to romance you? How do you know? What does he do?
He doesn't.
Ever?
He doesn't know how to romance a woman.
No.
Oh, you don't ever come on
She
to
doesn't
her?
give me the time to do so. She wants to be left alone. She doesn't want to be intimate. I mean, what I do,
All right, Erica,
I go out
Erica,
with pizza,
wait, hold on,
I
hold
go
on,
out and beer.
easy.
and that's-
Exactly. A pizza and beer. Oh, that's a real romantic date.
Well, Erica, what would you want him to do? What do you want him to do?
I want to be wined and dined. I want to be taken out. I want to be wined and dined.
Wined and dined.
I
All right,
believe in
Paul,
warming up,
Paul, what's the
Get into
biggest
it.
difference between the two of you?
Well,
The most obvious.
I'm a big sports fanatic, and she isn't. And in fact, we took her out to lunch, and we agreed to watch a Charger game together, and she would not finish her bowl of chowder. And she ended up throwing the bowl of chowder on me.
Oh, and he's not telling you all of it. You know what he did?
Yeah, but it's all about making a compromise,
He took his
though.
friend. You took
It's all about
his
making a
friend.
compromise.
He took his friend.
And?
With us. He took his friend. with us.
No.
You took your
You
friend.
agree.
Okay,
You agree.
wait, everybody take
So
a breath for
uncalled
just a
for.
second. Now, Erica,
There's a
explain to us.
compromise.
No,
That's
Paul,
all.
So
easy.
uncalled
Paul, easy.
for.
Okay, time out. To get my referee shirt on and a whistle. Erica, tell us why you thought this was a good time here to go out on a date with somebody else.
I just want to be wined and dined, that's all.
Oh, she wanted to see if she could get wined and dined. Is that going to happen? I don't know. Erica and Paul both have committed some personal fouls here, I guess. Now, when we come back, we're going to meet the people that they dated, and we'll find out if they're going to stay together or have a change of heart. We are here with Erica and Paul. Now, Erica says that Paul's a party pooper who needs an education on how to romance a woman. So we set her up with an experienced Don Juan who's always the life of the party. Please welcome Brian Tracy. How you doing? Paul, let me ask you, do you think Brian has what it takes to romance Erica?
I don't think so. Looks more like a salesman. Talking about romance.
I guess it depends what you're selling.
Yeah, of course, evidently. What were you selling?
Okay. Brian, Erica said that Paul's more kind of like a beer and pizza kind of date. What were your plans?
Well, I wanted to treat Erica like the woman she is, so we went to the Beverly Hills Hotel to have some drinks. Now, the only part I was a little pissed about was that she was an hour late.
So, Erica, then were you glad, though, you finally did show up, even though you were late and a little hesitant?
Yes. He looked like he had stepped out of a GQ magazine.
And no buck teeth.
And no buck teeth, no. I was pleasantly surprised.
Right. And Brian, what about Erica when she finally showed up for your first date?
Well, she definitely wanted me to notice that she was taken care of in the upper chest area. So
she was dressed appropriately?
she was dressed appropriately. I mean, if I had to describe this woman like salsa, you cannot get mild, you can only get extra hot.
So, Erica, how obvious was it that Brian liked what he saw?
Oh, it was pretty obvious. He couldn't keep his eyes off my upper body.
And I guess that sort of would have been the point.
Yeah, well, yeah, and I just got very uncomfortable with that, so I just came out and asked him, so what do you think? Do you like my boob job?
And you had a graceful response to that, Brian, I assume?
I said that it looked terrific.
All right, so Erica, there you are with Brian. He's admiring your assets. Were you admiring his?
Yeah, I was impressed with his hands. He has very beautiful hands. They're well manicured. I think that's very important for a man. And and Paul, well, Paul's are all bitten up, and I've told him many a times to go out there and get a manicure with me, but he's just very much opposed to that. So
Not into doing that. Okay, so
been open
Brian,
for that.
you set out to give her a first-class date. Any complications, or how'd things go?
Well, I took her to a world-renowned restaurant in Los Angeles, and we were having a terrific time, but she ordered escargot, and it came back, and it wasn't very good. So this is where I got to see the spicy side of her. She told the waiter that she wanted it sent back right away. Now,
So you can see a little attitude coming out.
right, and I liked it. Now, the only problem was we had spent so much money on the food that we didn't have money for dessert, so we had to go. I was a little embarrassed about it, but when we got into the car, we ended up having dessert anyway.
Well, you're going to have to do a little explaining here.
Beer and pizza,
Erica,
that's
excuse
why.
me. I want Brian to explain a little bit what was going on in the car for dessert afterwards.
Well, I started stroking her hair, and she liked it. So I got a little bit more aggressive, and I started using both hands, and she got vocally aggressive about it. I mean, it was obvious she was making, like, sex noises.
So, Erica, I'm assuming things are getting jump-started here in the car. You're making noises. He's got both hands going.
you weren't that aggressive. he was not that aggressive, no. So I asked him if he wanted to kiss me. I think he was beating around the bush. I mean, he kept stroking my hair and running his fingers through my hair, and so I invited him to give me a kiss, and we did. We were going at it for about 15 minutes.
First date, you're kissing this guy?
And Paul, how long
I
has it
wasn't
been?
sleeping with him. Okay.
Paul, how long has it been since you kissed Erica?
Yesterday.
Okay, well, it's not bad then. So, Erica, then did Bryan kiss you since you made the offer?
Oh yeah. We kissed for a good 15 minutes, and he's a good kisser. And
Bryan? Wait, Bryan, I heard an and. You want to explain?
and
Well,
yeah,
She
and
encouraged me to have my hands wander in other places.
Oh, now she's denying it.
No, I did not.
Now it gets controversial and the
No,
story
it-
changes.
And so did your hands wander?
A little bit.
I did not do
So, Bryan, it
that.
sounds like quite a scene was taking place in this automobile outside.
Well, we ended up having an audience because all the valet parkers ended up watching us and they were applauding.
That sounds like Erica.
Really? Erica, you complain that Paul always wants to go home early. What about Bryan on your date?
He wanted me to go home with him.
And
And I did not go home with him.
there you go. She was a good girl. All right, was a night on the town and a steamy kiss in the car with the valet parkers watching enough to give Erica a change of heart? We're going to find out later. But next we get to meet the woman that Paul dated, and we'll hear what happened on their date, so stay with us. Welcome back. We just heard what happened on Erica's date with Bryan, and now we're going to meet the woman that Paul dated. Paul says Erica knows nothing about sports, but fears that she has a team of guys on the road and wears her uniforms just a little too tight. So we matched him up with a sassy tomboy who always knows the score. Please welcome Angela Valverde. We picked Angela is because she likes sports. Did you guys get to talk about sports on your date?
Absolutely. Our first phone call. She was watching a football game, and I was, and we talked about it together. And made our plans.
So that was a good start for you then?
Absolutely. We had a lot in common, a lot more than what I have with Erica.
All right, and Angela, when you met Paul, did Paul remind you of anyone?
Well, basically he did. He reminded me of Scott Wolf. He's got that boyish charm, and he's got a beautiful smile.
Party of five.
Yes.
Okay. Angela, Erica says that Paul doesn't really get dressed up a whole lot. Was he decked out for your date?
You know what? He's not really dressed to impress. That's okay, though. Just basically because I think a butt's really important. One thing. Well, basically the thing is that night he was wearing a shirt outside of his pants. I couldn't really see his butt.
Oh,
So
really?
I asked him, and of course he would show me. So let's see it. So yes, he does have a nice butt.
Okay. Well, Paul, you said that Erica likes to flaunt her body. Obviously, we heard about that. What about Angela?
Oh, Angela? I find her really sexy.
Was she flaunting it, though?
It's not the flaunt. She has to go out in her underwear to be sexy.
No, she's
she's a
wearing a
kickboxer. She's in
jersey.
great shape.
Yeah.
So, Paul, what were you thinking about here?
Honestly, it was sexual. I was thinking, what she'd be like in bed.
Now, Angela, we heard Erica talking about Paul not being so good when it comes to romancing a woman. You went out with him. What do you think?
You know what? He was so sweet. He was very thoughtful. He brought purple carnations for me. And, he actually was so thoughtful that he called one of my best friends to find out what kind of flowers I liked.
Good move.
Yeah. Well, I want to start off a good first impression, and I thought that was a good way to,
So, Erica, there's a good romantic streak in this guy somewhere, don't you
Buy
think?
me flowers on my first date.
You don't give me the time to show you romance.
How long was it going to take you to bring me flowers?
Paul, let me ask you about the difference in the dates. Did it start out differently than a typical date with Erica?
Absolutely. We started off right out playing video games, which Erica never does. And in fact,
That's
I found
because I'm
out.
not 13.
Paul, what about after the games? Did you guys celebrate a little bit?
Well, we went out and we had a couple beers together, and then we ended up making a toast to the night.
And Angela, what were you thinking during the toast?
I thought it was so sweet because he actually said, "To tonight." So I thought that was very sweet.
To tonight, a special night for the
But
two
basically,
of you.
the main thing is I was looking in his eyes, and he's got great lips. So I was kind of wondering what it would be like to kiss him.
So, Paul, were you making some sort of move at this point, or?
Well, I was thinking about her, and I mean, I was thinking what it might be like kissing her, but I mean, we went out and played pool. And I had to give her a little coaching in her pool game, which she was open for. And she's taking her shots, and I'm helping her
so you're getting behind
focus
there.
in and, get her shots down. And, I'm sitting behind her, watching her shot and watching her stroke the stick. And I'm thinking a little bit of fantasy. I'm thinking what she might be like, fantasy on the pool table, maybe.
And so eloquently put. And Angela, during the pool game, were you trying to send off some other signals?
Well, basically, I just kind of took the pool stick, and as he bent over, I put it up and down in between his legs.
Fun with cue sticks, who knew?
Yes.
Angela, Erica said that Paul doesn't take her out to fancy restaurants for dinner. Did he take you?
You know what? We actually just stopped by and grabbed a bite to eat at a Subway, but that doesn't really matter because you don't have to be wined and dined to have a good time.
Jersey, I could understand why I would want to go to Subway, darling.
Well, how about this? Some people please
talk
themselves.
To the palm.
No, do you talk to the palm?
Because you're not the palm.
You know what? At least I don't have fake boobs for my boyfriend.
You know what? Talk to the palm.
You have a problem.
You're not the
You don't even appreciate
hey,
your boyfriend, baby.
You know what? I only have one more question. Angela, how did your first date with Paul compare to other first dates?
Well, basically, I think one thing that's really important is being a kid at heart, bringing out, the young part of our lives, the innocence. And that's one thing. It was definitely the most fun I've ever had. And one thing also, I appreciate people that do certain things to me.
Oh, I don't appreciate you,
I don't
Paul.
think you do appreciate him.
You know what?
Because if that was the case, you wouldn't be here.
All right, well, it's going to be...
You do everything he wants you to do?
You
like
know
the
what?
boob job?
No, darling. I got that position for some time. I don't think that. I noticed you can't fill that dress pretty well. You ought to go get one yourself.
All right, Paul obviously has two women fighting to appreciate him, but will he have a change of heart? During the break, they're going to make their final decisions. We'll find out what they decided when we come back, so stay here. The moment of truth. During the break, Paul and Erica each made a final decision about the future of their relationship, and there's no turning back now. Will they stay together, or have they had a change of heart? Now, you guys have been having some problems in your relationship, and Erica, you said you wanted to see what it was going to be like to be wined and dined to see if that would make a difference. So, we're going to start with you. You wanted somebody that was going to be able to stay out later and keep up with you, somebody that had more skills in the romance department. We hooked you up with Bryan. You said you had that GQ look. He was well manicured and well groomed. You guys had a really good date. But, there was that steamy moment in the car and all of that was going on. But it is your decision. You want to stay together or a change of heart. Erica, what do you say?
I'm having a change of heart.
Wait, I hear a but. Go ahead, Erica.
But I'm catching dessert elsewhere.
So you're going to go solo and just sort of keep to yourself and don't want to see Bryan again. Okay, Bryan, sorry things didn't work out for you.
All right.
Gonna spend some time alone, I guess. Paul, we're going to come to you now. Paul, you said you wanted somebody that would be more faithful in your mind. Mm-hmm. Somebody that wasn't going to be flaunting her body as much. Mm-hmm. Somebody that was going to share your passion for sports like Angela did. So we sent you out with Angela. You guys had a really good time. She's more of a tomboy, the kickboxing, the video games, and all of those things. Had some flirting at the pool table that was going on. Angela did say it was her best date ever. So it's your decision. Paul, stay together or change of heart?
Well, after listening to Bryan, he's right. She's really hot salsa. In fact, she's really too hot to handle. I've had to change of heart.
Change of heart. Okay. Angela, does that work for you?
Yes, most definitely.
Okay, that works right there then. All right. Obviously, you guys found out by coming on the show your differences were too great, and you both made a decision to change relationships, so congratulations. And Erica, you're going to go solo for a while, and I'm sure in time there'll be somebody that suits you just right. Thanks for being here. That's our show for today. Thanks to Erica and Bryan, and good luck to Angela and Paul. We'll see you next time on Change of Heart.